and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, please subscribe and hopefully there'll be more recipes to come. Today we will be cooking a little Korean dish that is commonly known as soon tofu jjigae. I'm not Korean, so I don't say that properly. It's basically an adapted version of this soup that you can order in Korean restaurants, but I've adapted it to kind of fit the things that you can buy in the UK from like Co-op or Sains. So it tastes very, very similar. So we don't use the soft tofu in this recipe because it's quite hard to find, and my partner doesn't really like tofu, so I just omit it. So it's plainly seafood and stew and kimchi, and it's really, really good. But if you do like the soft tofu part of the stew, you can just add it in. I'll leave a little note on when you can. Completely easy to do. You just add it all in. So basically this recipe is quite easy, and instead of using things like pork belly or, you know, things that might be harder to source, I've used like bacon as a substitute. I've used literally like a store-bought kind of kimchi jar that I found in Ocado. So it's all really, really easy to source items, and hopefully this will make it easy for you to make this at home. So first thing you're going to do is chop up your garlic and your onion. For this recipe I've used 6 cloves of garlic. I know it's quite a lot, but trust me, it just tastes so good and it just melts into your stew and it's beautiful. And there's a lot of garlic in Korean cooking. So now you put it all in a bowl and then we move on to chopping your onion. For this recipe, just 1 white onion will do, and just chop it up into tiny little chunks and put it to the side. The next thing I'm going to use and chop up is bacon. Normally people use pork belly or different cuts of pork for this. I chose something that's very easily accessible, and that is bacon for me. So chop it up into small chunks and just leave it on the side. So that's what your ingredients should look like, and now we add some sesame oil into the pots that are directly on the hob. And now that the pot and the oil is getting a bit hot, we start by putting in the bacon. So that's the first thing you put in, and normally I let it sizzle for a little bit and then I pop on the onion straight after. So I allow the onion to go in and let it get fragrant, cook until it's transparent, and then we add in the garlic. Just give it a little stir and let it soak up all the flavors and simmer. While you're waiting for that to cook, I normally start to make my chili powder mixture. So that's 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, and then I kind of eyeball the powder, so it depends on how spicy you want it. And then just give it a little stir, make sure all the lumps are gone, and just mix it all in. Next step is to add in the kimchi. I use 1.5 tablespoons of this mixture in a jar. You can also use chopped up kimchi, whatever works for you. Now give it a little stir, let it absorb all the flavors, and then we move on to our chili powder mix. Some people say you add in a little bit in the beginning and then a bit at the end, but I just put it all in. So I would say 2 to 3 tablespoons, into it, each pot. Sorry for the weird noise in the background. We have a dryer on, so it just sounds a bit mad, but you can basically see what's happening here. And now, tiny little stir as per usual. Get all those flavors in, get it all mixed up, and then we're going to move on to putting in our stock. So I'm using a lobster stock because I made a lobster pasta the other day. Feel free to use any form of stock you want. A really easy way is to do stock cubes, like chicken stock cubes or chicken stock pots, or vegetable stock cubes and vegetable stock pots just in like hot water, mix it up, and you basically have the same thing. So super easy, you can do anything you want, it will all taste good. And while that's simmering, I want it to bring to a boil. We're going to start chopping some spring onions. These are ones that we've actually grown ourselves. I'll make another video another time on how to grow them, but yeah, chop them all up into tiny little pieces for you to garnish at the end. And this is what it should look like. Now check on your soup. If it's boiling and bubbling like you can see, it's time to add your seafood. You can add clams, you can add mussels, you can add store-bought frozen seafood, anything you want, prawns, anything. I have sourced these from Bethnal Green Fish, and they're lovely mussels, and that's what I'm using for today. And now that the mussels are in, turn down the heat and give it a little stir, make sure nothing's stuck to the bottom, and just let it simmer, ideally for 20 minutes. Have a little taste, and if you want, you can season with 1/2 teaspoon of salt. In the meantime, clean up your station, take it easy. It is 20 minutes, so grab soda, grab your cat, give him a little cuddle, all is good. It is at this moment that I realized that my jumper has kimchi stew stains. So I've gone and gotten that out with a vinegar and cleaning liquid mixture. I know, so silly. Always wear an apron when you make this dish. Now 20 minutes has passed, do's at an end. Final step is to crack in an egg. Once you do that, turn your heat up just a little bit for a tiny bit of oomph. Get your rice balls all ready to go. And final finishing touch is your spring onions. Now use your oven mitts, transfer onto the plastic little holders, and you're good to go. It is the perfect warming dish with a side of white fluffy rice. It's super fragrant, lovely flavors, not spicy, and just all around amazing. Hey, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe and let me know. And if you make it, please tag me on Instagram, on your stories, at StephYTStaysHome. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye!